All right, welcome everyone. My name is Kim, and I'm going to show you how to deploy your Vue apps to Azure using the Azure Static Web Apps service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a folder. I have Vue app test, nothing is in there. Alrighty, I'm going to open up a new terminal. Here we go. We're going to do a clone a repo that I have over on GitHub. Perfect. So now you see I have different kind of apps. So today I'm going to show you for Vue. So I'm just gonna first I'm gonna switch into my app. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. I want to change into my app. Here we go, and then I'm gonna go into Vue app. Here we go. I'm gonna do npm install for us. Let that kind of run for a bit. Continue to run for a bit. Now this is assuming that you've created an Azure account. It doesn't take much to set up. Don't really need to walk you through those steps, but you'll need to have an Azure account to be able to deploy to it. Just kind of makes sense, right? Alrighty, looks like we're finishing up here. Almost done. Almost excellent. And then let's do a run. Right now I haven't touched anything to do with Azure, really just kind of making sure my app's up and running in Vue first before I deploy it to Azure. Let's open localhost, and you'll see this is my awesome Vue app. Perfect. So now that our Vue app's up and running, good to go, I'm going to show you how to use the Azure Static Web App extension for Visual Studio Code. So if you already have anything to do with Azure in your Visual Studio Code, you'll see the little Azure button. So I already have app services, functions, and static web apps set up and installed already in my Visual Studio Code. If you don't, you just have to head over to the Visual Studio Marketplace to get the extension and install, and it'll have you sign into your Azure account just so that it's nice and connected. But you can do this if you open the command palette, Control Shift P, I think. Yeah, there you go. Once you install the extension, you open the palette, you can do, I think, Azure sign in. I've already done that. Skip ahead just a little bit, and I'm going to create a static web app for myself. And so it's going to list you the subscriptions. If you have none, you won't see anything here. So you need to have a subscription on Azure. So you choose which one you want to use. And you're going to name your web app the same way you would in the portal, but I'm going to do this again all through Visual Studio, which is kind of awesome. What did I name my app? My Vue app test. Oops, I already had one because this is the second time I'm trying this. So let's just call it my Vue app. I'm going to use my GitHub account. It's already linked. I have all these other spaces. I'm going to do my personal one. I got to choose the repo that I'm using. So let's do my Vue app test is what I called it. I'm going to work off of the main branch. If I had other branches, you'd see the list here and you can choose which one you want to deploy from. I'm going to just choose main because that's all I got going. Right now, like I said, I had other apps and I want to just use my Vue app one, but if you're already in your app's location, you could just use the forward slash, but I need to select my Vue app. So I'm going to select Vue app. I'm going to do this is where the build path for my app's location. Press enter. This is an Azure thing, so I need to select the location where I want to deploy from. Not so important. I'm going to use East US 2. That's where I am. And then we're going to let Azure set it up for me, which is awesome. Again, I haven't left Visual Studio Code. You can do this all in the you can do this all in the Azure portal yourself. It's just super nice when you can do it straight from Visual Studio Code. I don't need to get out. So I'm gonna click on View Output. It successfully created it, and I should be able to see all of my apps. See, I ran a few tests today to do that. So I recently just called it My View App. So what you can do actually is right click and head over to the Azure portal, and I'm just gonna let it open up. Let's do like this. I just want to give you, I don't want to put out anything that I'm not supposed to. So you'll see that Azure kind of gives you already a place where your app will reside. So if you actually click on this and over there, once your app is deployed, you'll see it here. My app's probably still being loaded through a GitHub action, so it probably hasn't loaded yet. And you can actually go and check the status. It gives you it right away. And then you can check the status and it'll bring you over to GitHub. And so you can check the status of your deployment. So mine is queued right now. It failed earlier. That was done 18 minutes ago, so that's not the one we're doing. So it's still deploying, and you can see it queued over there. So it's essentially that easy. So there's more parts to this. I'll show you. If you want to head over to the Microsoft Azure booth, can walk you through kind of your fallback routes and configuring fallback routes and stuff like that. Don't really have time. You can actually head over to microsoft.com/learn. There's actually a module with all the steps lined out if you wanted to go ahead and try this yourself. So let me just open it. You just zoom in here. And so you can actually go through this yourself. So kind of neat. Essentially and once the app is ready and deployed, that URL that Azure gave me will show off my app. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Come check us out at the Microsoft Azure booth. Love to chat, and thanks.